I'm actually back for the first time this year because life has been super fucking crazy. Matt is the King Goon is away in Mexico, drinking way too much tequila and catching fish to throw them back into the ocean. But we're here with the proprietor of Knox Nostalgia Collectibles, Tank. You can pop by and see him and all of us at our booth next weekend at Retromania at the Boulder County Fairgrounds.
Yes, which isn't in Boulder.
Which is in Longmont.
Yeah, which is weirdly in Longmont, yeah.
But we'll all be there and it'll be fabulous. Also with us is my dear, sweet, wonderful husband, minus one testicle.
Wait, minus a testicle? You didn't say you lost it.
It's broken. It's fucking broken.
I thought it was in touching your spine.
It might be attached to my butthole right now. It may have inverted and is currently in my stomach. I don't know. It might be in my knee. It's still attached because I can feel how much pain I'm in.
So apparently, if you're going to throw a dog toy at someone, you should give them a heads up.
You shouldn't just throw it. That's a general rule.
In general, you don't throw things at people that aren't looking.
Well, he should have been paying attention. Also, hi, it's Duchess Bobby too. So before we went live, I broke my husband.
Oh.
Thank God we were never planning on having children.
But you're seeping onto the couch from the inside now.
Ew. I'm really glad we have a slipcover on the sofa.
I kid. It's not actually broken skin.
Okay, anyways, so we were talking a bit about Hogwarts Legacy, and we started going into a really interesting point where, one of the big reasons that a lot of pre-orders have been canceled and a lot of issues have already come up with this game, even though it's not set to release until next month, is that it is apparently anti-Semitic, and there are a lot of problems that people are having with the goblins being the Jewish people. And I say that with quotes because, like, there's never any discussion of religion. It's just apparently that's a thing. And the fact that this game takes place during the Goblin Uprising, and you as the main character, the wizard, can choose either to support the Goblin Uprising, so that they are treated the same as wizards, or you can say you guys are lesser beings and then keep them enslaved in a form. So this is where we are. That and J.K. Rowling is just spouting her usual
shit.
I was going to say her usual bigotry about the alphabet mafia. LGBTQIA.
Yeah, well, I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
So
you had a face.
Where the disconnect was we've talked about that. I think we talked about this a little while ago, one or two pods ago. I think you and I talked about this a little bit, where it's kind of been a long understood trope that the goblins have a lot of Jewish American tendencies, and it's also, and I forgot to bring this up because this was part of the rant that I saw too. Jewish people have been kind of treated in that goblin character since the Middle Ages, since really it was the Spanish Inquisition. They portrayed them as goblin-esque and grotesque, and really exaggerated the features of the giant nose and big hairy ears and balding hair. And so when the movies came out, like Tank was saying, like it was kind of understood that was the way they were perceived. And even Jon Stewart said something about that a decade ago, that it was very, Jewish, that the goblins are Jews. But
Yeah,
the thing
propaganda.
now,
Yeah.
with her hatred of everything else that, she hates, I think that is really putting a fine point on other things that she's, built into her own world. And people are tearing that limb from limb at this point. So if she's, transphobic, then clearly she's anti-Semitic as well, because, the Jewish goblin thing is very, very close to being an anti-Semitic trope of Jewish people. So,
Well, yeah, based on a lot of propaganda about Jewish people, But like you said, that propaganda has been around for 500 years, 600 years.
it doesn't make it right, though.
No, I'm not saying it makes it right. I'm saying, but that's all propaganda. We understand what that is.
Right. I
And
think,
the whole issue with even the concept of it is that wasn't just Jewish people, it was Middle Eastern people.
right,
Mm-hmm.
right. But the Jewish people were portrayed, and wow, we're going way off the rails early on this cast. The Jewish people and and Middle Eastern people were portrayed two different ways, and it's the money grubbing Ebenezer Scrooge type, giant nose, very grumpy, that whole thing was kind of the really got founded by the Spanish Inquisition and the Catholicism back in the Middle Ages. And the Middle Eastern trope is, while very similar to that, those are two different things. And when the Jewish people came to America, they got isolated into that box again. And I think where it was when all of this came out, we didn't really care that much about it because we were enjoying what we were seeing on TV and enjoying the books. But like I said, I think now that everyone's realizing how big of a fucking toolbox J.K. Rowling is, and they're going back and doing a little bit of like, hey, we saw that before, and now we're going to outrage about it. And then couple that with the story of the game where you can actually keep the Jews enslaved. If I'm going to take literally the tropes from the game,
I think another reason that this has really come to light is that anti-Semitism has become such a huge deal in today's culture. I mean, I'm not saying that it wasn't a problem prior to, the last 5-6 years, but the last few years, it's just, we have the Kanye stuff and, Trump spouting whatever. And so people who are more aware now than they were 10, 12 years ago are going, hey, we're seeing this in everyday media. Maybe that's a problem. And it wasn't something that wasn't really, addressed prior to, the current culture that we're in.
See, I think that's honestly kind of part of the problem is it really never stopped being addressed. It became a bigger issue for other groups. Other groups of people took the forefront again.
I think that it stopped being addressed in mainstream media.
To a certain extent, yes. But even then, like a lot of it is other subjugated groups, other outcast groups took over the front of the line, essentially,
You are
for
not
Jewish
wrong.
people.
there's always some semblance of social justice warrior out there that's gonna, what was it last summer? It was fight for Ukraine. The summer before that was Black Lives Matter. The summer before that was the genocide in
Syria.
Syria. Yeah, I mean, and
You're okay. All of those things are valid.
right.
Yes.
But there's always one in the forefront that the mainstream media is talking about.
Yes.
And I feel like we were on the Ukraine kick and, whatever else. And now it's shifting back towards Americans where it should be in the injustice here. And it's all because this game is coming out and they linked the story to, kind of the underlying underworld of and kind of cross-connected the two and coming up with a new issue about it.
All right. Well, unless you have something else to say about this, I have our next topic picked out.
Well, I'd like to say I would like to follow it up a little bit. Anti-Semitism has gone up in the last few years, like you were saying.
Mhm.
That is at least visible anti-Semitism. Let's put
Yeah.
it that way. Has gone up decent amount over the last, like you said. I'd even go back as far as 7 years, but
Yeah.
this book, which became a movie, which is becoming a game again, because it's already been a game several times. But in this specific model, you're saying that it's during the Goblin Uprising, which they're using these propaganda style caricatures of Jewish people to represent the goblins.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But my only issue with it is it's a known quantity. They talk about goblins in the very first book, and that is what, 25 years ago now.
Yeah.
So
I
I'm
think
I'm confused by the
So
is it
let me
just the
go with
enslavement part is the issue?
let me go with a little bit of a cancel culture reference. So Kate Smith sang the national anthem for many, many, many years at Madison Square Garden or whatever, and did all that. Well, they went back and found in the 40s where she dropped the N bomb a bunch of times, and now she is no longer on television because of something that she did 60 years ago. So the book came out 25 years ago. We're looking at it through today's lens, and because of that, and our new coupling of the author's other issues that are in the mainstream right now, we're going to put a very big bright light on that because of that.
But then you're
also,
jumping to conclusions at that point, aren't you? If you're saying because she is anti-trans, because that's been the big thing, does that
Mhm.
mean that she's also anti-Semitic? Because I don't see how those two necessarily correlate.
I don't think that they do. And I think that the reason it's more of an issue with legacy than it was with the books or even with the movies or with previous games is those all took place in today's world, right? So the wizarding world, which is different than our world, but still in current times, right? Whereas this is taking you back 600-700 years, right, to the founding of Hogwarts, to this rebellion that happens. And in the original books they touch on it briefly, like, oh yeah, that happened, like that's a part of our past that we acknowledge, but it's not something that we're going to dwell on. Whereas in this game, it is one of the primary plot points.
I know, and I understand that concept, but that's true in most forms of media, even current books, current games, current movies. I mean, you can look at what happened in Lord of the Rings, where they basically wipe out the entire species of elves.
Yeah.
And that, are we going to now start canceling Lord of the Rings?
No, I think it's just the specific culture appropriation is what we're going after at this point. It's not like, genocide in general. It's the specific simile in this case that has been made the link to.
Okay. Well,
Plus, it's easy to pick on Harry Potter right now because
I think
J.K.
it's
Rowling's a piece of
I
shit.
think it's disingenuous to call out that one specific game when there's many games, many movies, many books that are widely accepted, played, and experienced that involve genocide, cultural appropriation. I mean, look at Grand Theft Auto. They kind of play into stereotypes. Look at any number of movies, they play into stereotypes. Books, they play into stereotypes because it's not saying that it's correct, but it's a point of general knowledge, let's say.
Yeah.
of you play up the stereotypes because that's something that people will inherently understand what you're trying to get at.
No, you're right. So,
I don't know. I'd say I understand not wanting it because of who is going to be making money off of it, because yeah, she's probably going to make a shit pile of money off of the licensing rights. But I'd say calling out that specific part of it doesn't really make sense given what is considered allowable in pop culture.
All right. Kind of switching notes a little bit, but let's stay with Jewish culture. Mel Brooks is finally giving us History of the World Part 2.
And we're getting Jews in space.
Exactly.
If we don't, I will seriously like.
It's in the preview.
It's in the preview.
In space in the preview. There's
Yeah.
a black Jew. There's a woman Jew. They're all Jews. They're in space.
And this is a 4-night extravaganza on Hulu, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like it basically picks up at the end of the Roman Empire, and takes us through who knows when. Like I don't know where he's gonna stop at that point. But we have Wanda Sykes as Harriet Tubman. And a lot of people I know who love Mel Brooks films have said there's no way these films could be made today. Right?
No, we talk about that all the time.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like Blazing Saddles could not be made today.
A good chunk of Mel Brooks's contributions would seemingly not be acceptable in today's.
So
Right. So
standard.
I'm really excited about the fact that he's coming out with something new, but still in the irreverent, tones that we all have come to know and love of Mel Brooks.
So, for me, I feel like Mel Brooks movies took a turn towards the Zucker brothers after and during Robin Hood Men in Tights, where it was more slapstick, physical comedy. Yeah, there's a lot of smart remarks, but they weren't,
Political.
pursuing boundaries the way they did in the early days with Blazing Saddles and the first History of the World Part 1 and Young Frankenstein. All those movies, he was pressing all these boundaries as opposed to, here's Robin Hood and that was a fun story and we're going to tell it as sillily as possible. You know what I mean? And so I'm interested to see if he goes back to that style where he's actually chasing something. I'm also wondering if this is basically Mel Brooks giving us his retirement swan song.
I would assume so, because he's 96 years old.
Yeah.
He's 117 years old. Get this one out while he can, and then fade away into retirement. Hopefully he does more. But if this is it,
But
go out big.
He even makes fun of himself for being so old coming out with this, in the preview where he's like, "Hi, they have to check his name, sewn into his jacket. He's like, I'm Mel Brooks. That's right, Mel Brooks. And then
This is the culprit. This is it.
Well, no, the culprit's sitting next to you. That's the weapon. It was
Duchess in the living room with
the giraffe. Yeah.
I may have fallen asleep to Clue a couple nights ago.
And the cast for the History of the World Part 2 is
Oh my God, everybody's
expensive.
in it. Everybody's in it.
Well, I mean, you have to think it's a minimum of a 4-hour, tribute or mini series or whatever, right? And I think that each episode or each of the segments is 90 minutes.
Well, it's supposedly 8 episodes.
Okay, I thought it was only over 4 days.
So maybe 2 episodes a day.
Maybe 2 episodes a day, because last I heard it was 8 episodes.
Yeah, but still, you're looking at anywhere from 4 to 12 hours worth of History of the World Part 2.
Yeah, and the cast is right now, I think they said it's like 40 something people.
Could you imagine you find out somebody calls you and says, "Hey, star number 532. Mel Brooks is making History of the World Part 2." No shit, huh? Yeah. You want to be in it? Oh yeah, I'd love to be in it. Like the
Yeah.
all the main actors that they get in to come into Sharknado and kill themselves off.
Exactly. Because yeah, we're getting. I know Johnny Knoxville's in it. Zazie Beetz is in it. Taika Waititi, Seth Rogen,
Yeah.
Kumail Nanjiani, Danny DeVito, Jake Johnson, which is hilarious. If you've seen, you kind of get a hint at what his thing's going to be in there. And like it's literally like, yeah, it's like 50 people long, something like that. It's absurd.
Yeah, no, the cast is absolutely crazy, and I cannot wait to watch this and then to talk about it.
Oh yeah,
You know?
definitely.
This will be something that I think we're all super stoked for.
Been waiting for it for a long time.
Yeah, seriously. Okay, so sorry, our dog is apparently enjoying the murder weapon.
She just pushed it out of her own reach. She's laying on her back like a turtle. And she just rolled over and kind of looked at me like, "Go get it." It's like literally 5 inches away from her head.
But it's out of reach. So you have to do the thing. Okay. So another sequel that's coming out that I'm not as excited for, and I don't think there is another sequel that any of us are as excited for, is History of the World Part 2. But that the other sequel we're going to talk about is The Batman 2 is coming out. I think it is next year.
I just had it pulled up.
Yeah, so did I, and now I can't find it.
Well, what movie?
The Batman.
Batman 2.
Which will be a Batman and Joker film. Because if you'll remember at the end of The Batman with Robert Pattinson, you see where you hear the Joker. You have that little moment of them in Arkham.
Yeah, and it's Barry Keoghan, right?
Right.
He's supposed to be playing the Joker.
So in the new film that's coming out, and Tank is confirming the date on that for us.
I'm trying to pull it right now.
It's going to be that Batman and Joker already have an established history. Right?
Yes.
They know each other. There is already, a backstory that we're not going to see happen. Now we may see some in like backflashes or flashbacks, as other people call them, and in the storytelling, but we won't get them. We won't get it the same way. Whereas in most Batman films, we see, the villain come up, the same way Batman, coming of age, sort of, the way that whole thing goes.
Yeah, it's going to be 2025, it looks like.
Oh, 2025.
Yeah.
I was thinking next year, but 2 years.
Is it the Joker Part 2 is this coming year?
Yeah, that's coming out in this year sometime.
Yeah.
I think.
That must be what you were thinking.
Yeah,
of
the Todd Phillips
Mm-hmm.
Joker movie. It looks like it's next year, 2024.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so, and it's Todd Phillips. Yeah. Folladu. Whatever. However you say that, I don't speak French.
Folladu.
Yeah, that'll be 2024 when that one comes out. I think they're in production on that one. The other one, the Batman 2, I don't even think they've started production yet.
I don't believe they have. I think that it's just the script is as close to finished as it gets before they actually start production.
Yeah, the general dimensions of the script have been accepted and they're polishing essentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we know we're gonna get something that's different, and in the Batman, we got a very different telling of the Batman story.
Yeah, very emo Batman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we got like young Batman when he doesn't really know how to be Batman yet.
And a
Which we
detective
haven't really
Batman. My
gotten.
favorite part is that he's more of a detective this time around. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very noir type of film.
Exactly what I was going to say. Very noir.
That was my favorite part about it. So.
Oh, speaking of absolutely nothing related, I introduced Mark to Johnny Dangerously last night because we were going to watch Batman Returns. Michael Keaton, Danny DeVito. Ended up watching Johnny Dangerously, Michael Keaton, Danny DeVito. Slightly different path there.
God, that movie is hilarious.
A little bit different.
I'd never seen it before.
How?
I don't know. I missed it.
I don't know.
I was watching the cast like Dom DeLuise is the fucking Pope.
You fargin' ice holes. Yeah. So, but it was fun for me to watch him watching it for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed the shit out of that movie.
Plus I like that he's driving a sedan with bunnies and duckies. Okay. So let's see. What else? Ooh, The Mandalorian season 3 trailer has dropped.
Looks really good.
Right?
It's getting me juiced up. I cannot wait for that.
Really good. You said you didn't like Andor, right?
Oh no, I loved Andor.
Okay.
No, it was Mo who didn't like it.
Oh, Mo said he didn't like Andor.
No.
I thought Andor was great. I just finished it the other night.
Andor is a great, honestly, spy thriller.
Yeah, really.
You don't even have to have it in the Star Wars universe, and it'd still be good.
Right. Yeah, the story, the backstory of Cassian is incredible, and how he gets his reputation, which you always hear about. Yeah, my athlete dog. What are you doing, crazy girl? Hello, everybody. Meet friend dog.
Don't touch the cat.
I don't know what's going on here.
Okay, so yeah, Mandalorian looks really good.
Yes.
And it looks like Mando is actually carrying around Grogu the same way Mark carries around Friend Dog. Although I think it would be nicer if she had one of those floating buggies.
Yeah, that would be way better.
They make it easier for sure.
But like when you see like Grogu basically sitting on his lap driving, piloting the ship, but it's, it makes me think of like, when you're like 6 years old and you get to like sit on your mom's lap and like pretend like you're steering the car, as they're like pulling into a parking space. It's like that.
While you're saying that, people are out there canceling us for saying stuff like that.
Well, you know what?
That's not a thing. No, nothing like that happens.
Okay, well,
it did in the 80s
40
and 90s.
years ago, that was a fucking thing.
And this season of Mandalorian looks like it's going to be primarily based in Mandalore with the titular Mandalorian trying to, I don't even know how to say it, redeem himself, I guess is a good way to put it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, trying to get back into the good graces
of the rest of the Mandalorians.
Yeah.
Because, he did take his helmet off.
Yeah. And then he killed a few Mandalorians too.
Well, there's that. But I think the bigger problem was that he took his helmet off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for his sect.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
So we were actually watching the premiere episode of The Last of Us tonight.
Did you watch it, Frank?
Oh yeah.
It was so good.
And Mark was in the kitchen for part of the episode. He's like, I'm having such a hard time not picturing him in full Mandalorian armor.
Every time, because I was in the kitchen making, homemade chicken nuggies, and I kept hearing his voice, and I kept coming around looking for Beskar. Like, no, wait, no,
Yeah.
that's not him.
They got rid of Grogu. Now he has Ellie.
Yeah.
But really enjoyed that first episode of The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Like,
That was very, very well done. It was heartbreaking and suspenseful, and
what was it
I
you
don't
said?
hate, as many people do, I don't hate Resident Evil as much as most people do, but it was definitely done better than the most recent Resident Evil iteration.
Oh yeah. The
You said about the daughter, the way they did the character development.
yeah. So the last time we talked about how terrible Black Adam was, and the stakes in that movie weren't necessarily as stakey as they should have been, and the character development wasn't there. You got to see his daughter come in and develop a very likable character that you expect to be around a while, and then get pulled away from him right there.
Oh yeah.
That is such an HBO thing to do, and they did it so well. Like, oh, okay, well, I'm glad I got attached to her in the first 20 minutes of this show.
Oh yeah, they rip your heart out right at the beginning.
Yeah. Well, and then the speech at the very beginning by what's his nuts, the guy from The Mummy, that was really super haunting.
Yes, it was very well done, and I cannot wait for the rest of them.
No, I'm not worried about the pandemics coming through. The human race always survives. It might take out 8 or 10 million people like a good war, but the human race will survive. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they went a little heavy-handed on the foreshadowing. Oh.
Yeah.
A bit. So, looking forward to watching this.
Yeah.
I don't really know a lot of the backstory.
You saw it.
That this is based on.
Oh, okay.
So similarly to when I watched Halo, I'm getting to come in as a new fan. And experiencing it in a new way, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah. Well, people will hate it, but you should watch it anyway.
Yeah, I think it's good.
All right, let's see. What else is going on? Okay, let's talk about some shitty movies that are coming out.
Which ones are the shitty ones?
Yes. All right, so first off, Magic Mike's Last Dance. I know we've talked about this briefly before. I thought he'd already finished his Last Dance, and I didn't realize we were going to get stuck with another fucking film. I love Channing Tatum as eye candy.
He's man meat.
But I didn't even like the first Magic Mike movie.
Oh, it's not a good movie.
No. And what, this is the third one? Or fourth one? Or whatever?
Third or fourth.
It's third.
It's just, it's too many.
Because the second one was the XL or whatever the hell it was.
Oh, right.
Which had Kevin Nash in it, which made me laugh.
But Channing Tatum, while doing Magic Mike's Last Dance, also recently acquired the rights. He's going to remake Ghost.
That doesn't need to be redone.
Which I don't know how you do that now, right? Because Patrick Swayze and Whoopi Goldberg,
Demi Moore,
how do you top that? And I don't like that movie either.
Nah, I don't even like that movie.
Channing Tatum and some bitch and Whoopi Goldberg. Just bring Whoopi still around.
Yeah.
I mean, she's going to be in a new Sister Act movie, right?
Yes.
So just bring her back for Ghost, man. Why not? There's two of your three big heads right there. I don't know who the some bitch could be.
I don't know.
Anne Hathaway.
Whenever I have watched Ghost, I have not watched it in many years because I don't particularly like that movie. Like, all I'm thinking is, like, could you imagine the passerby who, like, sees Whoopi and Demi doing that whole pottery scene? Right? Because it's like, in the film, you see Patrick Swayze. But Patrick Swayze is embodying a middle-aged black woman.
Well, I mean, they did it in the Wonder Woman 1984.
We don't talk about that movie.
Moving on.
Maybe that's why you don't like that.
Wow, Tank. You got...
James Gunn is given some teasers about the fact that the DCEU, which is just a really long way of saying the big screen shit, may be doing All-Star Superman instead of, the Clark Kent generic Superman story that we all know from
Every Superman.
from the big screen, as well as
every other time they've done it.
Yeah. So I think that that's a really interesting take on things. He'll have to do the 12 feats, and
Yeah, they're doing the young Superman. I don't know. And the only reason that they're kind of leaning that direction, I guess, is because of what they're using as the postmark for it is an image from All-Star Superman, I guess.
mm-hmm.
And so that's why they're kind of pushing the idea that it might be All-Star Superman. And it could be. I mean, he specifically mentioned wanting to do a young Superman story, so we'll see.
And we still don't know who Superman will be.
He doesn't even know who Superman's going to be yet.
Right. So I think that, all of this is just speculation at this point.
A lot of
conjecture.
Yeah.
It's a reaction to an image.
But it is nice to see that he's reading source material as he's trying to, put together a cohesive plan for the DCEU. So props to that. I feel like some of the previous heads of that whole universe had no idea what the hell they were doing or what the source material was.
Wonder Woman 1984.
I will shove this pencil into your other testicle.
I only have one good one left. You already broke the other one.
All right. Moving on from speculation.
Unscrewed testicle?
Yeah. Avatar, The Ways of the Water, or The Watery Grave, or whatever the fuck it's called.
The Way of Water.
The ocean, water world Avatar has been doing quite well at the box office. They're very happy with the numbers.
Did it hit the $2 billion yet? I know it's close.
I think so. I want to say it did over the weekend.
1.928.
Okay.
So very close, and it will hit that 2 billion mark, I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah. And they're already saying that the third one is going to be within the next couple of years.
Boy, it better take a longer or less time than the last one did.
Well, and it's already based. Okay, so how they describe it specifically, I think it was James Cameron who described it.
Mm-hmm.
2, 3, and 4 were all partially shot at the same time.
Okay.
So all of 2, about half of 3, and I think they said a third of 4 have already been made.
Oh, okay.
So we're looking at like a 2-year turnaround, probably holiday time 2024, I think is what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
For
the third one.
And apparently the third and the fourth will have they're transitioning out of the current cast into a newer cast.
Yeah.
So like the son of the Marine and his tree lady will be. I don't remember their names.
Jake Sully.
I can't remember. Good
Jake
for you,
Sully
sir.
is the main guy. He's
You must have watched it recently.
No, I just remember it because
Jesus, I don't remember a fucking thing.
But like their son is going to be
The
the main character, the storyteller of the third iteration, and we don't know about the fourth one yet, or at least we haven't been told about the fourth one yet.
I am very sorry. I have heard specifically from one of my nephews that the second one is very good. I specifically very clearly remember nothing about the plot from the first one because it wasn't interesting to me at all.
It's Fern Gully.
Yeah, it was Fern Gully with CGI. It was CGI Fern Gully. And so I got that.
But without Batty.
There was
which makes it worse.
It makes it way worse. I didn't think it needed a sequel. I knew that they were going to make one because of the way the movie ended. Stop
licking the table.
Hey. Don't do that. Thanks. I knew that they were going to make a second one. It's easy for me to say because of the way the movie ended. But I don't remember what about the way the movie ended required a sequel because I don't remember a fucking thing about that movie. So there's blue people and Marines, and they hate each other, and they're all trying to pretend to be each other.
And it was
That's all I remember.
And even then, even way back then, because now it's very, very long time ago when that movie was 2009 when it was released.
Yeah.
Shortly after its initial thing, they already said, like James Cameron said, there's gonna be like 5 movies or something like that.
I mean, he must have a story arc in place for it.
Yeah, that's what he was saying even a decade ago, is that there's 5 movies that he was planning.
And good for him for actually being able to fulfill that.
Well, partially to this point.
Well, I mean, if he's already partially shot 3 and 4, we've waited so long for sequels that we never thought we would actually see, and some of which we never thought we wanted. But when we see things coming to fruition, like History of the World Part 2, like this, Avatar Waterworld, it's
Avatar, Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap.
Yeah.
Well, one of those is 40 years old, and we legitimately never thought there was going to be a sequel.
Right.
Whereas with Avatar 2, he's been talking about the sequel for a decade.
Or triplets.
Oh God, that is a movie that does not need to be made.
There's a lot of movies that don't need to be made, and yes, that very much fits in that line.
Okay, all right. Let's see. Going down the list of other movies that okay. This is supposed to be the top 35 movies to see in 2023. According to, I don't remember which source.
Magic Mike was on the list of the top movies to see for 2023.
Yes.
Why?
Because it's the only one coming out.
Channing Tatum without a shirt on.
I was gonna say next month that they're saying it, because they had them broken down by month. So Quantumania.
That one I can't wait for.
Yeah.
Like that one we're all really excited about.
Yeah.
Creed 3.
Yeah, take it or leave it. First one was good. The second one was
I'll probably watch it, but not in the theaters.
Yeah. 65, which I had never heard of or seen previews for, but apparently the main character, and I cannot remember who the actor is right now, gets like in space and lands on a new planet, and it turns out it's actually Earth 65 million years in the past.
Yeah, I saw that. That was weird. I hadn't heard anything about it until I saw a random teaser for it.
Right? But it sounds interesting.
Well, it sounds like Land of the Lost.
Yes.
Yeah.
But apparently he's alone.
It's like Journey to the Center. Oh, I'm sorry. I just watched my dog. She was like trying to break her toy apart by doing the head shaky thing, and she just shaky thinged herself right into the side of the chair.
Oh, I thought she hit herself in the head with the toy again.
No, she took herself out on the chair.
Okay.
But yes, the big force behind this one is that it is Adam Driver as a lead.
Oh.
So
I mean, it's a premise that's been done before, but I'm interested. Okay, see, going down the list. Scream 6.
Nope.
which is interesting that they went back to that, considering that they kind of rebooted it
Yeah.
when they did Scream 5. So I don't know.
I don't like any of the Scream movies.
I love
think
the
they're all-
first one.
First one was good.
Okay. I haven't seen the first one in like a very long time.
Roughly 20 years.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah.
Okay. So another sequel up on the list is Shazam: Fury of the Gods.
I have been waiting for this movie because I absolutely loved the first one.
I did too. I was kind of hoping we'd see more of that the Black Adam movie wouldn't suck, and so that we'd see more of that whole side of the wizards and everything. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
This one I think is kind of its own. I don't know if they're going to have any mentions of Black Adam. I mean, it would make sense if they did, but seemingly at this point they're not. So, oh, should be a decent movie because it's supposed to be once again kind of a family-driven with the Shazam family
Right.
taking on Hespera and Calypso.
It'll be interesting. I'll definitely watch it. Another sequel. John Wick Chapter 4 comes out this year.
I'm in for it.
I'm in for that. Yeah, they are mindless. Well, not mindless, but mostly mindless action movies, and I've enjoyed all three of them. So, sure.
I have not seen the third one. But from what I have seen of the John Wick film series, I enjoy it. I think that Keanu Reeves does a good job portraying the character. So,
And they're supposedly taking on the high table this time. So this seemingly is going to be the last in the series.
The last one though, and there's
Huh?
always a layer.
Yes, but this one seemingly is the last one because he's taking on the high table, which is supposed to be the big head honchos of whoever he's been working for or was working for a long time.
But it doesn't have to be because you could have crossovers like John Wick versus Sharknado. And then you could have like buddy cop movies like Rush Hour 5 featuring John Wick. Or then you can have John Wick in space. Would be a good one.
well, speaking of a bunch of really stupid sequels, Fast 10.
Yeah. Fast 10.
Is The Rock in this one?
Nope.
I don't even know.
I don't think he is.
They tried to get him in, supposedly, but I don't believe he's in it.
Like the first one was basically Point Break with cars instead of surfboards.
Yes. I will say
It.
I do like some of the people that they're bringing into the cast. So maybe it'll be okay.
I disagree with that. But okay. I'm sure the cast looks good. The movie can't be good.
No, it's probably not going to be good. I'm being slightly hopeful because supposedly Jason Momoa is in it as the bad guy. and Alan Richson is supposed to be in it, which is cool.
Yeah.
And then they're going to have their normal cast, I'm assuming, with Jason Statham and John Cena and Ludacris and all them.
Yeah. All right. Other movies coming out, and I'm just kind of skipping around on the list. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Can't wait.
Basically, it can't be worse than the Kingdom of Crystal Skulls. So, what the hell?
Well, Shia's not in it, so.
Yeah, and we know what's his name's back, right?
Yeah.
Is that
Hopefully he
what you just
doesn't
said?
break his fucking hip.
No, he said Shia LaBeouf isn't in it.
Oh, I was thinking of the Middle Eastern guy.
I believe he is in it, yeah.
I am the Admiral of the Sea. Bad dates. Indiana was the dog?
It will have
Dune
that's
2.
interesting. Mads Mikkelsen is going to be in it, apparently. Antonio Banderas is supposed to be in it.
I like him.
Huh. Toby Jones, interesting casting. Yeah,
As long as
maybe.
it's not never mind.
Okay.
I was gonna say Tom Jones, but
All right. Dune Part 2 is also coming out this year. I really enjoyed the first movie.
Same here.
me too.
You know,
Maybe it's me 3. But
so I'm looking to see how they continue on with the filming and with the way that they're portraying Arrakis and that whole universe. We're also getting a new Hunger Games movie this year.
Yeah, that's supposed to be the prequel, right?
Right, which is basically President Snow as they're developing all the Hunger Games and everything before he becomes president.
The downfall of the districts and all that stuff.
Yeah.
interesting.
Which is apparently also one of the books in the series.
Yes, it is. It came out a couple years ago. I haven't
And
read
I
it.
have not read it yet.
No.
So I will most likely read that before the film comes out. Because I've read all of the other books. So always interesting to get that take on things. See, another movie coming out this year that I was a little surprised about is The Color Purple is coming out, but it is the musical adaptation that was on Broadway or based off of the Broadway play from a few seasons ago.
Okay.
So, I mean, we're getting at least 1 or 2 musicals a year now.
Yeah.
You know, I will really give like Lin-Manuel a lot of credit for the fact that like when he brought Hamilton to the masses, it kind of reopened that door for musical movies.
We just watched Matilda a few days ago.
I was told
actually.
that your girls enjoyed it.
They loved it. So it was good. It was decent.
I mean, it was okay. I've seen the play.
What's the other musical that just came out recently that we were told to? Spirited Away.
Yeah.
I have not seen that one yet.
Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell. One of her favorites and one of her least favorites.
I'm surprised you haven't watched it yet because I know how your wife is with Christmas movies.
We were going to watch it and then she fell asleep.
Well, it wasn't on Hallmark Channel, so I can get why that hasn't made it onto her list yet.
No, she knows it existed. We were going to watch it, but she was super tired, so we did not.
Fair enough. Okay, so kind of wrapping up the movies of 2023 list, we have Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom coming out this year, which I believe will be Jason Momoa's last time in the DCEU as Aquaman, or at least that's
possibly.
Seemingly, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what's being hinted at. Because the original, 3 Justice League, you have Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman have all been kaput, and are apparently filing suit against the whole DC.
Really?
Yeah, because they were told they would have X number of movies, and they didn't do other films, and then they got cut.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I don't know whether or not Jason Momoa will get put into that grouping, or if they'll try to just kind of hold on to him
And turn him into Lobo.
Yeah, so we'll see.
I mean, he's still on their radar for casting. We just don't know what he's going to be cast as yet.
Yeah. You skipped over Oppenheimer.
I did. Like I said, I was just kind of jumping around.
Weirdly, that's one of the ones I want to see most out of these. It's Christopher Nolan doing the story of Robert Oppenheimer.
I'm gonna let you guys talk for a moment. I'll be
and Robert
right.
Oppenheimer's being played by Cillian Murphy.
Right.
So I was like,
an interesting story, not one that we've seen.
Not to this degree, yeah. Apparently, it's gonna have Cillian Murphy, Robert Downey Jr., Florence Pugh, Jack Quaid, Matt Damon.
Oh wow! That's
Emily Blunt, Josh Hartnett. Like, it's a pretty extensive cast, actually.
Wait, Josh Hartnett's still doing stuff?
Apparently, that's what I was surprised by too. I was like, really? All right.
Yeah, I thought he had retired.
No, he's playing Ernest Lawrence, I think, or something like that. Yeah, Ernest Lawrence.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in anything in forever.
Yeah, no, I can't remember the last time I saw him in, to be honest. But yeah, apparently it's a pretty
Vampires in Alaska movie, I think, was probably the last thing I saw him in.
Yeah, probably the same for me. I think Gary Oldman's supposed to be in it. He's supposed to play Truman, I think.
Oh, holy shit. What a cast.
Yeah. So that's kind of cool, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the ones that I was surprised by, that I was like, oh, that actually sounds like it's going to be good.
Super Mario Brothers. I think that movie is going to be better than I thought it was going to be initially.
I think it's going to be better than a lot of people kind of jumped on it early.
Yeah. All right. Charlie Day as Luigi is just, that's a great move.
That's fantastic.
It's so good.
And I hope he's super over the top with it.
Right.
Like almost aggressively, Italian. And they just keep Chris Pratt with his American English accent. And they have the Italian American Luigi just over the top. Like Charlie Day. That would make me super happy, to be honest.
Oh my god. That'd be so awesome.
And they're doing Transformers Rise of the Beast, which we've talked about here before, which I know a lot of people hate the Transformers franchise and what Michael Bay did to it. But I've been waiting for Rise of the Beast for 30 years, or 20 years, however long it's been.
I definitely get it. I get why people are upset with what happened with the movies, especially the first few, the Witwicky saga.
Oh God, yeah.
The Witwicky parents helped ruin the franchise very early on.
Yeah, that really dropped off a cliff after the first one, didn't it?
Uh-huh. And again, Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, he didn't help things. That's for sure.
The animation was very cool. The CGI was great.
The robot fights were fun.
Yeah, and I mean, the recasting of Megatron was a good choice, as it turns out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there were some things that I enjoy about those movies. Even the ones with Marky Mark.
Oh my God. I forgot he was in that movie.
He was in like 2 or 3, wasn't he?
2 of them, yeah. I think it was 2 of them.
And then what did you think of the Bumblebee movie?
I thought it was all right.
I thought that movie was pretty good.
Yeah, it was better than it had any right being, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of a completely different take on it,
And we're getting supposedly we're getting the Flash this year.
I mean,
And
we'll see.
the lead has taken at least one plea deal for I believe it was the breaking and entering charge
Oh God,
and the theft charge. I think took a plea.
I think
They
you're right
took a
about
plea
that.
deal on. I think.
I think you're right about that.
But still got an assault charge and endangering minors charge and a couple other things that are floating down the river seemingly. But maybe if the lead isn't in jail, that movie will come out this year.
I mean, we'll find out, right?
And what else? Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse looks cool. I loved that first movie so
The
very
first
much.
movie was so good.
So
I was very pleasantly surprised with it. I thought it was going to be dumb because not dumb but corny and cute, and it was actually a really really good movie.
that was fun, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't think there's really much else to talk about in these.
I'm getting a new Wonka for some reason.
What are they doing with that?
It's the kid from Dune. What's his name? It's not Charlemagne, even though that's what I'm thinking. Chalamet.
Oh yeah.
Timothy Chalamet as being a young Willy Wonka. Chalamet, that's where it is. Chalamet as a young Willy Wonka, and for some reason Hugh Grant is playing an Oompa Loompa. Not really sure why, but there we go.
I mean, good for Hugh Grant, I guess.
I don't know if that's good for Hugh Grant, but maybe he wanted to do it. I have no idea.
Hugh Grant's a weird guy.
He is a weird guy, and he hasn't really done a lot of mainstream stuff in the last 15 years.
No, he has not. Not since. Didn't he have some charges or something happen?
No, he did stuff after that with the
DUIs and
prostitution
shit.
thing. Yeah.
I guess you're right. There were a couple of things, and then he was quiet after for 15 or so years.
And supposedly Keegan-Michael Key is in this movie, which I haven't seen anything about him, but that's the rumor, is that Keegan-Michael Key is supposed to show up, and so is Rowan Atkinson.
Huh.
So that might be worth watching.
Yeah. I mean, just those two names right there kind of piqued my interest.
And it leads me to believe that it's going to be funny at the very least.
Right.
Or aggressively corny. One of the two.
Over the top slapstick.
Mm-hmm. And then I guess we have a lot of book adaptations coming out too, supposedly.
Yeah. Maybe all the television shows. Is that what this is?
We got A Man Called Otto is being turned into something.
Yeah.
Which I, be honest, don't know a lot about that because I don't remember hearing about it. But
I don't know any of these, but I don't read, as you guys know.
I read, but I don't remember that. Oh, it's already out. That one's already out, apparently.
Which one?
A Man Called Otto.
Oh. I mean, it is January.
That is currently out.
Mayfair Witches, I know that people will be interested in that. I don't know these other ones. Salem's Lot, that should be a good one.
Oh, Tom Hanks is the lead in A Man Called Otto. He's playing Otto.
Oh!
That movie.
I've actually seen, that actually looks pretty good.
Yeah.
I've seen some trailers for that.
I did see a trailer for that. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, I remember that now.
Yeah, that actually looks pretty good now that I'm thinking about it.
They're doing another Salem's Lot, which is not a surprise.
No. It's been a while since the last one.
And then we already mentioned that we're getting Dune Part 2.
Yeah.
Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which is the Hunger Games prequel.
Right.
And for those who don't know, Willy Wonka is actually based on a book. So,
Gene Wilder did not create the character, everybody.
no, that was based on a very old book by a very crazy man.
Yep. I can't believe they're doing another 3 women.
I can, because people will watch it for some reason.
That's true.
Fall of the House of Usher, which I've kind of always wanted that to be a big thing because I actually really love that story.
Yeah.
So maybe that'll be good.
Yeah. I don't know much of these because, I am not the reader. But this one is, and she can.
This one is the reader. She's the biggest reader out of all of us, I believe.
Between hard copy books and audiobooks, I am at probably 6 or 7 a month.
Yeah, that's more than me at this point.
Which is way down from where I used to be.
Yeah, since I've had kids, it went from 3 or 4 a week to if I have time to poop by myself, I'm happy. So
can't you do that while both of the girls are at school?
Yeah, as if I don't have a full day's work here before I have to go pick up the little one.
It's not like you run your own business, take care of the house and the kids. I mean, really? Hey, come on.
And because it snowed a little bit here, my kids weren't in school today. And the little one's not in school tomorrow. And the big one is on a 2-hour delay.
Oh, good.
So
how much did you guys get down there?
We got, I don't even know if we got a full inch of snow.
Oh, wow.
Legitimately. And it's not snowing anymore. And it hasn't for 12 hours. So,
I think we got about 7 inches.
Did they close down all the schools in your neighborhood?
They did.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my office even closed early. And it's been snowing off and on since 4 o'clock. But it was snowing steadily from last night at 6 or 7 until about 4 o'clock today. And then it's just been off and on.
Yeah, we got snow for roughly 3 hours.
Yeah, we got a lot more. And we're supposed to get some more tonight. So
supposedly we are too. I haven't seen anything that indicates that's honest by any means, but
yeah. Well, maybe the clouds are still hanging over our area, and it still smells like there's moisture in the air. So,
and my ankles still feel like they're going to break off.
See, that's a weird thing. I didn't even when they said it was going to snow and stuff was getting closed down, because they closed down school the night before. They closed down school last night.
They closed down everything super early yesterday.
And I didn't even have knee pain or shoulder pain. And I'm like, I don't really believe you that it's supposed to be snowing a bunch, because usually if it snows down here, I can't walk in the morning.
Right.
Yeah, no, we're both having all of the joint pains, my back and my knee, his ankle, his wrists. So we are old and decrepit storytellers with all of the bumps and creaks and pops of our joints.
Angry bones. Angry bones and things that are angry in between the angry bones. But not as angry as my left nut bone.
The left nut bone. Do you have any
suffering from bursitis?
Opinions on the book adaptations we're supposedly getting this year?
Let's see. Let me run down the list again. A Man Called Otto, I'm looking forward to seeing. That's the Tom Hanks film where his youngest son, who is actually not an actor by trade, portrays him as a younger version. It is the younger Tom Hanks in the film.
Oh, you did tell me about that.
It's not either the older kids?
No, because the older kids are too old to play the age that they needed.
Oh,
and,
I did not know that.
The director, and I can't remember who the director was, So Tom Hanks was talking about this all in the Graham Norton show, which I love. He was like, yeah, so I told him, my son doesn't want to be in movies. He's not an actor. He's an artist. And he's like, well, let me talk to him. He's like, I would rather like talk him into it than have to try to find somebody who looks like you.
The director is Mark Forster.
Yeah. So, but apparently it worked.
I know that one. Apparently it's getting a lot of attention.
Yeah. It looks like it'll be good. Let's see. The Mayfair Witches is one that I haven't seen any of the previews or anything for the film. But it's a good book, so I'm interested. Let's see. Some of these I don't really know.
Oh, it's on
and the Six. I don't know what that is.
Mayfair Witches started last week, it looks like. No,
okay.
A week and a half ago. January 8th. And it's on AMC, it looks like.
Okay, that's just the new season of the show. I thought they were turning it into a film.
Nope,
well, in which case that is good.
Apparently it's a series. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Dune, we've already talked about. The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. We've talked about. That's the new Hunger Games book.
Mm-hmm.
Wonka, obviously everybody knows that one.
Wonka.
What I didn't know about that one and what we actually talked about while you stepped away for a second. Hugh Grant apparently is an Oompa Loompa.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which, by the way, I watched an interview with him on TikTok the other day where he said that he is super into heavy bondage.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. It's one of the things he likes to do for fun.
So that's what he's been doing for the last 15 years.
Yeah, he's been hanging out.
Literally. Okay. Bridgerton, the third chapter is supposed to be coming out this year on Netflix. One of the things I really enjoy about the Bridgerton series is the show has been sticking closely to the books. Now, obviously, they're changing some things because it's TV and they have to take some liberties, but there are plans to make the entire series of the Bridgerton books into every series on Netflix, as long as it continues to get the reviews that it is getting. And each book in the Bridgerton book series is focused around one of the 8 children. So, like the first series of Bridgerton in the first book, you focused all on Daphne. In the second one, you focused all on Anthony. And the next one, it's all on Benedict. So,
nice.
I've read the first 5 books of the series, and I really enjoy it.
Cool.
So, let's see. Those are the book adaptations that or the film, either big screen or small screen adaptations that I'm really looking forward to. I am going to take that movie list of books being turned into movies or into TV shows and see about putting some of them on my reading list. Especially while I'm at work doing data entry and such. That's when I really just kind of plow through books. Because I just have the audiobook on while I'm
typing away.
Because it goes, how does? Never mind. It's in a book that I can't remember. Where it's basically it goes from paper to computer without stopping at the brain. It's just that translation. Whereas, like, if you have to stop and think about it, no, honey, that's not it at all.
Osmosis Jones.
Yes.
Osmosis Jones.
Jones.
It's definitely Osmosis Jones.
But yeah, I'm gonna look into some more of those books. Um, Great. The last thing I have for us to chat about is a lot of cons are starting up next month, or actually even this month,
This
and
weekend.
we go directly into con season, starting with Cosign happening this weekend,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't believe any of us are going to be there. Smurf might be, but since
Smurf
Smurf
maybe.
hasn't shown his face on this in what, 8 months, give or take.
I don't remember.
So Smurf, if you're still out there and you're alive, shoot up a flare so we know that you're not dead.
Smoke
Well,
signal.
we'll see him next weekend.
Yeah, at Retromania, which
Yep.
we've already touched on briefly. That is at the Boulder County Fairgrounds in Longmont.
Yep.
And we will be there with bells on. Probably not.
I probably won't have bells.
I have a couple of sets of cat ears that have bells on them, so it's likely that I will have bells on.
She just
If
knows
I'm
I
dressing
hate
up
that
at all,
phrase.
it'll be as the Onceler.
She just knows that I dislike that phrase a lot, which is why she said it.
Yep. But honey, it is what it is.
She also knows that I dislike that phrase a lot, which is why she said it.
But yes, we will be there peddling our goods and having conversations and probably doing some variation of live casting of some kind.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There will be some shorts. We'll show up on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, all the things.
You said shorts. I'm like, well, duh, Tank and I are going to be there. There's going to be a couple pairs of shorts. I didn't even think about
I mean, like short videos.
As I say, I've worn pants 3 times in 2022, so I'm guessing it's not going to get much higher than that in 2023.
The only reason Mark even owns pants is because they are required for his job.
That's correct.
Oh yeah, I don't have one of those jobs. Thankfully, I could sit here in my boxers and do my job. So,
well, if it wasn't for the way that I have the camera angle right now, Mark would be sitting here in his underwear doing this job.
We had that conversation.
Because he doesn't believe in pants.
I don't.
I don't either. I get it.
Leg prisons?
Well,
they are containment fields for my giant calves.
exactly.
All right, so anyways, we'll be at Retromania the last weekend of January. Stop by and see us. Knox Nostalgic Collectibles will have quite the assortment of goodies.
Yep.
And Mark will have a bunch of shit too.
I'll be there with stuff.
Well, I'm assuming it's primarily Pokemon.
Yeah.
But I know that you have other things that you were going through, so
Yeah.
it will be
Pokemon
stuff.
I have stuff.
Denver Fan Expo has been announced. Will be over 4th of July weekend again. Colorado Springs Comic Con will be the last weekend of August, the way it has been previously. NDK will be the following weekend in September. And DakuCon, which is the 18 and up con, is happening in November. There will be many other cons between now and then. And we will be attempting to make appearances at as many of those as possible, either in cosplay or just, rocking our nerdiness and carrying around a camera to get your reactions and thoughts on all things nerdy and pop culture. And with that, is there anything else that either of you fellas would like to add?
No, I'm good.
All right.
Nothing right now.
Okay. Join us again next week when it is the Idiot Brothers talking with the Goon Squad about sports and other sport-related things. I'm sure that the playoffs will definitely come up, and basketball and other shit. which is why I'm not typically on that cast.
We did
Yeah.
pretty extensive hockey talk last week.
Yeah, a lot of hockey talk.
Yeah, and then you guys also asked me my thought on the Green Bay Packers because you're assholes.
Well, Aaron went and made things super clear yesterday.
We'll talk about that next week. All right, and on that note, walk softly and carry a big stick. I hope that you have less snow to shovel off your sidewalks than we do. Thank God for the HOA.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys next week.
I think that's the first time that sentence has ever been said.
Yeah, that's because we don't actually mean it.
And we're not
Okay.
paying it, so.
Bye.